Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name is Amy. I am an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the NIV, and we will be through the rest of 2025, starting at January 1st, 2026. We'll be doing the KJV. We also got the new KJV and the Good News Bible in the other day, and we have the Catholic Bible on hand as well, and that's one of the objectives of this channel is to read as many versions of the Bible as we can, okay, and to compare the languages to each other. That is something that I am actively working on, starting with the Proverbs, because on the Facebook page, all the KJV Proverbs have already been given my Cliff Notes handy way of remembering them kind of thing, like the real lesson behind it. And the NIV ones are up there now, so I'm actively getting to see the actual written word difference between the two. In this video, though, we are doing Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 26. So let's jump in. Now, at this point, Moses has led everybody to the bottom of Mount Sinai. He has given everybody this, you can't go up there or God's going to kill you. Only Aaron can come up here with me. Because he took Aaron up there with him. Now, God also made it kind of look like the mountain is on fire. So people were not really enticed to want to go up there anywhere. They were like, no problem. You can walk up the fire mountain on your own, prophet man. Because they're doing a lot of that too, challenging Moses, and Moses keeps reminding them, you're not really challenging me. Please revise your tone. So, the 10 Commandments, chapter 20, verse 1. And the God spoke all these words. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. Let's see. Or besides me. Besides me and before me do have different definitions. Like as if multiple gods were optional. Then really he's saying, no, just me. He's a jealous God like that. You shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. Pretty specific. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the fathers to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. So it's very important when you start looking at how a generation's at least 20 years. So you're talking about you commit a sin and he's going to continue to punish your descendants for 80 years after you. Okay? But showing love to 1,000 generation of those who love me and keep my commandments. So, okay. Now we're at that place, right? So if you come from a family of good stock, it's saying, oh, well, now you're okay. And you're covered for 1,000 generations. That's a lot. 1,000 generations is quite, because I just said it's 20 years. So now just expound that. You're 20,000 years of blessings. 20,000 generations, like 20,000 years of however many people are born in those 20,000 years. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. So you can't be running around saying, well, God said. And especially if it's not, you don't have something like this that you can point at. Right? Especially in the Jewish faith, because that's where this rolls into, and that kind of thing is considered blasphemy. So careful. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do your work. Okay? But the seventh day is the Sabbath to the Lord your God. Again, our week is not really Monday through Sunday. It's Sunday through Saturday. The seventh day is Saturday. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son, or your daughter, nor your manservant, or your maidservant, nor your animals, nor the alien within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, but he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Honor your father and your mother. I actually reverse those things. You can see how that was in my household. So that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not commit murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his manservant, or maidservant, or his ox, or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. So covet is pretty specific. Covet is to want, okay? But it's not just to want. Like, you could see anything. Like, you could decide you like this right here, and you want to get one like it, and you're not really coveting. It's only if you insist it must be this one right here. And then you're coveting. Because you want to take that specific thing. It's not, just like you want this thing or that thing. We all have wants. We all have needs. He doesn't expect us to not have needs. He knows what all our needs are. So he's just going to give us whatever it is he knows. He knows we need. Jesus says it in the New Testament. He knows you need clothes. He knows you need food. He knows you need water. He knows you need all of those things. So, of course, he's going to make sure you have all those things because that's part of what he does. It might not be the version of it you want, but it's going to be what you need. Now, some people do indeed believe covet means don't want anything. You can't want anything at all. You just have to be happy with whatever. And maybe that's true. If one of you get up there before me, ask him. Come back and tell. I can guarantee you, if you do it right, there'll be some communication. Okay. When the people saw the thunder and lightning and heard the trumpet and saw the mountain in smoke, they trembled with fear. So it sounds like it was about a volcano about to erupt. Okay. They stayed at a distance and said to Moses, "Speak to us yourself and we will listen. But do not have God speak to us or we will die." Moses said to the people, "Do not be afraid. God has come to test you so that you will fear, so that the fear of God will be with you to keep you from sinning." You're going to be afraid that, you're going to get in trouble amongst this, especially these people with this emotional development. Because remember, they were slaves for 430 years. They don't know how to be what is self? What is self if somebody is defining you for you in every moment? That takes time to discover. So, if somebody's always dictating it to you, you don't know who you are. And you need to take time to get it. And this is part of the trek that they're in. They don't know how to be anything else. The people remained at a distance while Moses approached the thick darkness where God was. So no problem. Idols and altars. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites this. You have seen for yourself that I have spoken to you from heaven. Do not make any gods to be alongside me. Do not make for yourself gods of silver or gods of gold." This is the Egyptians. Like, we don't want you taking the habits the Egyptians had with you. "Make an altar of earth for me and sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and fellowship offerings, your sheep and goats and your cattle." Because remember, when their ancestors before this moment are making altars, wherever it is, they heard God talk to them. They build this pillar of stones. It's not anything that is crafted like that by the hand of man. It's what they can find. Okay? So, and that there is a reason for those things. And it has to do with the things that are of stone and their ability to, one, like for this instance, because their offerings, your sheep and goats and your cattle, wherever I cause my name to be honored, I will come to you and bless you. So that's the end of that verse. So it's just, so it's not getting broken up. Look at what they're offering. They need something that's going to be able to hold that heat in order to cook that food into an ash. Because that's what they want to do. They want to melt it down completely into it. Like it needs to be completely burnt. If you make an altar of stones for me, do not build it with dressed stones. Okay? For you will defile it if you use a tool on it. Like, don't do that, because you're going to be chopping things up. You can think about what the actual actions of doing this is going to look like. They're going to have to butcher the animal also on this slab. So what is the knife going to do? And do not go up to my altar on steps, lest your nakedness be exposed on it. Okay, so people are walking around in these long robes. Nobody's got no pants. And let's just say the entire world's going through life Scottish style. Okay? And if you don't know what that means, you should probably go take it up. You can go ahead and Google that and find out for yourself. So, keep your modesty about you. Don't have to go up off of the ground so nobody's down on the ground looking up at you. Modesty is always appreciated, and in the eyes of the Lord. It doesn't matter, what gender identity or demographics anyone falls in. Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy, and I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the book of Exodus, and we are in chapter 21. These are the laws you are to set before them. Hebrew servants. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he is to serve you for 6 years. But in the 7th year, he shall go free, without paying anything. If he comes alone, he is to go free alone. But if he has a wife when he comes, she is to go with him. If his master gives him a wife, and she bears him sons and daughters, and the women and her children shall belong to her master, and only the man shall go free. But if the servant declares, I love my master and my wife and children, and do not want to go free, then the master must take him before the judges. It's got a footnote of B. Or before God. He shall take him to the door or the doorpost, and pierce his ear with an awl. Oh, no thank you. Then he will be his servant for life. Now, for reference, this is not an awl, because it's not really made for that. This is really more meant for when you're welding or soldering, so you can pick things up with it. But this kind of point tip with possibly something thicker than that, the handle would be different. It would be clearly, usually they're shorter and fatter, and you can see where this part is flat because they're meant to be hit with a hammer. They're a woodworking tool for making like punctures, or like leather working uses them if you wanted to put like the notches in the belt for the belt buckle to go into. So this is not going to be something small. This is not going to look like, like pierce the ears. This is going to be looking more like a gauge. So understand that in ancient Israel, people with gauged ears were voluntarily slaves. If a man sells his daughter as a servant, she is not to go free as men servants do. If she does not please the master who selected her for himself, C, or the master so that he does not choose her, he must let her be redeemed. He has no right to sell her to foreigners. Like, he has to let her family buy her back, because he has broken faith with her. If he selects her for his son, he must grant her the rights of a daughter. If he marries another woman, he must not deprive the first one of her food, clothing, and marital rights. If he does not provide her with these three things, she is to go free without any payment of money. So, if your father were to sell you into some form of sexual servitude to another person, that guy, if he doesn't marry you, must pay for you, for you to live for the rest of your life. He cannot claim to have any rights to any part of your body if he's not paying all of your expenses. I'm not saying I'm advocating for that. I'm explaining what that would look like in the way they were living life. Personal injuries. Anyone who strikes a man and kills him shall surely be put to death. However, if he does not do it intentionally, we call that manslaughter, but God lets it happen, he is to flee to a place I will designate. That's where the Levites are. But if a man schemes and kills a man deliberately, take him away from my altar and put him to death. Anyone who attacks, that's a D, or kills his father or his mother must be put to death. Right? All right, so any of those, well, they're not like a girl, they're my sister, or any of that, that's not valid. That's not valid. They're saying, we don't care what your relationship is to them. If you murder them, you get put to death, according to the society rules. Anyone who kidnaps another and either sells him or still has him when he is caught must be put to death. So no human trafficking. No human trafficking allowed. Anyone who curses his mother or his father or mother must be put to death. So no witchcraft and no gossip. If men quarrel and one hits the other with a stone or with his fist, not just with objects, or with a tool, this is a E, footnote E, or with a tool, so any object, okay, and he does not die, but is confined to bed, the one who struck the blow will not be held responsible if the other gets up and walks around outside with his staff. So no jail time, okay, no murder, because they don't really have jails during this time anyway, that's why everything has killed them. No murder if he can get up and move around. However, he must pay the injured man for the loss of his time and see that he is completely healed. But you got to pay all his expenses while he can't work to make sure that he doesn't starve to death and he gets the medical treatment he needs. You got to still have to pay for your mistakes. It just becomes a civil court case. If a man beats his male or female slave with a rod, and the slave dies as a direct result, he must be punished. So even if you think you own the people and you think you have the right to hurt them, you still don't. You'll still be punished if you hurt them, especially if you kill them. Always consequences for being killed. Murder is not good. But he is not to be punished if the slave gets up after a day or two, since the slave is his property. So it's only if you murder them. But then with the other ones, even when they weren't a slave, if the person can get up, you just had to pay all their expenses. You weren't punished then either. If men who are fighting hit a pregnant woman, and she gives birth prematurely, it's another F, or she has a miscarriage, but there is no serious injury, the offender must be fined whatever the woman's husband demands and the court allows. Okay? But if there's a serious injury, You are to take life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, and bruise for bruise. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. If a man hits a manservant or a maidservant in the eye and destroys it, he must let the servant go free to compensate for the eye. Okay. But if he knocks out the tooth of a manservant or a maidservant, he must let the servant go free to compensate for the tooth. Okay, so if you if you're doing any amount of dismemberment kind of things going on in your violence, you lose the right to have that person. So anybody is like, no, you got to stay with an abusive partner. No, they have to let you go free. If a bull gores a man or a woman to death, the bull must be stoned to death. And the meat must not be eaten. Some sort of blood rage contaminant. But the owner of the bull will not be held responsible, because sometimes bulls are going to bull. And humans can't control what bulls do. We barely control what we do. If, however, the bull has had a habit of goring, and the owner has been warned, but has not kept it penned up, and it kills a man or a woman, the bull must be stoned, and the owner must be put to death. So no aggressive animals either. No right to aggressive animals. However, if payment is demanded of him, he may redeem his life by paying whatever is demanded. So you can buy your own life out, but not the bull. This law also applies if a bull gores a son or a daughter. If the bull gores a male or female slave, the owner must pay 30 shekels. That is about 12 ounces or 0.3 kilograms of silver to the master of the slave, and the bull must be stoned. So different fines, but either way the bull goes. If a man uncovers a pit or digs one and fails to cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls into it, the owner of the pit must pay for the loss. He must pay its owner, and the dead animal will be his. Like, what he wants to do with that dead animal is up to him. If a man's bull injures the bull of another and it dies, they are to sell the live one and divide both the money and the dead animal equally. However, if it is known that the bull had a habit of goring, yet the owner did not keep it penned up, the owner must pay animal for animal, and the dead animal will be his. Because again, you could decide what you want to do with the dead bull animal. I hope you'll join me for the next video, friends. Until then. Hello, friends, and welcome to Bible study. Welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. We are in Bible study. Yes, we are in the NIV still, and we will be through next year too. If you prefer the KJV, come back in 2026. We'll do it then. But, I'm doing a comparison. So, we are in the NIV. We are in the book of Matthew, chapter 23, and we're going to do all of 23, so 1 through 39. So, that's all called the one parable, 7 woes. Chapter 23, verse 1. Then Jesus said to the crowds and to his disciples, the teachers of the law and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So you must obey them and do everything they tell you to. But do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach. Don't only give lip service. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Or, don't say you're going to do it. They tie up heavy loads and put them on men's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to lift a finger to move them. Everything they do is done for men to see. They make their phylacteries. It's definitely Phylaceteries, phylacteries, B. Oh, that's a box containing the scripture worn on the forehead or the arm. Yeah, it's got like a band with the Torah scroll in it. Jewish homes often also have that posted on the outside of the house. It's like a way to be identified that it's Jewish people are in the home. They make their phylacteries wide, and the place and the tassels on their garments long. They're see how holy we are kind of objects. They love the place of honor at banquets, and the most important seats in the synagogues. They love to be greeted in the marketplaces and to have men call them rabbi. But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have only one master, and you are all brothers. And do not call anyone on earth Father, for you have one Father, and he is in heaven. Nor are you to be called teacher, for you have one teacher, the Christ, C, or Messiah. The greatest among you will be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled. Whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Woe to you, teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the kingdom of heaven in men's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to. D, some manuscripts, 2, instead of trying to. Woe to you, teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel over land and sea to win a single convert, and when he becomes one, you make him twice as much a son of hell as you are. Wow, that's pretty specific. Whew, that's pretty specific. If you engage in any kind of hypocrisy like this, where it's about how important you are and not important how important the Lord is when you're in these positions, then he's saying you're a son of hell. That's something to give us pause. I think we should stop there for a second. I don't know how I would feel about being called the daughter of hell. I think, Dad, I am not. The Holy Spirit testifies that my soul belongs to Jesus Christ. I'm going to get on the internet and read the Bible every day. Lies. That's how I would reply. But most people do not get on the internet and read the Bible every day. So you're going to need whatever you know to know that that's not true. But Jesus is saying it's possible to be one. So we're going to have to mind ourselves what we do. It really does matter. It always has, but, some people think that God can't see them or something. That's the best explanation I have so far, is they act that way because they don't actually believe God can see them. They think they can, hide things from God, which is just, what? Woe to you, blind guides! You say, if anyone swears by the temple, it means nothing. Ooh. But if anyone swears by gold of the temple, he is bound by his oath. Your word means nothing, but your money sure does mean something. You blind fools! Which is greater, the gold or the temple that makes the gold sacred? You also say, if anyone swears by the altar, that means like the Ark of the Covenant, it means nothing. But if anyone swears by the gift on it, he is bound by his oath. So they're saying only oaths backed by money have any value. You blind men, which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? Therefore, he who swears by the altar swears by it and by everything on it. He who swears by the temple swears by it and by the one who dwells in it. To dwell on those two things, to swear on those two things, is to say you're swearing on God. And that makes them a greater thing. It's not supposed to be about money, and they want it to be about money. And that's why Jesus has been calling them hypocrites in the the chapter before. He was flipping over tables, all that good stuff. 22. And he who swears by heaven swears by God's throne and by the one who sits on it. Woe to you, teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give 1/10 of your spices, mint, dill, cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. You blind guides, you strain out a gnat but swallow a camel. This is for us like saying you're being so particular that you're trying to pick the fly shit out of the pepper. And like, how would you tell the difference? Woe to you, teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but the inside, they are full of greed and self-indulgence. You put on a good show of being faithful, but you don't take it into your heart, and you don't change how you're dealing with the rest of humanity. You want to lord, you're looking like you're faithful, instead of actually being faithful. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and the dish, and then the outside will also be clean. You have to clean your soul first. You can't have the appearance that you've changed before you've actually done the internal work, the shadow work, if you're in the metaphysics world. Woe to you, teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but in the inside are full of dead men's bones and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. Woe to you, teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites! You build tombs for prophets and decorate graves of the righteous. And you say, if we had lived in the days of our forefathers, we would not have taken part with them in the shedding of the blood of the prophets. So you testify against yourselves that you are the descendants of those who murdered the prophets. Fill up, then, the measure of sin on your forefathers. You snakes, you brood of vipers, how will you escape being condemned to hell? Therefore, I am sending you prophets and wise men and teachers. Some of them you will kill and crucify. Others you will flog in your synagogues and pursue from town to town. And so upon you will come all of the righteous blood that has been shed on this earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, one you murdered between the temple and the altar. I tell you the truth, all of this will come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who kill the prophets and stone those sent to you, how often I have longed to gather your children together, as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you were not willing. Look, your house is left to you desolate. For I tell you, you will not see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. 1:18:26. Ooh, that's really specific, isn't it? So, lip service is a no. It doesn't matter how righteous you look on the outside if you're going about in the world and deliberately trying to be a jerk to other people, like you feel like you have the right to do comeuppance and stuff. That's a hard no. God says no. Jesus says no. That's not how it works. Doesn't matter what position of power you find yourself in. If you feel like you get to lord power over other people and make them feel less so you can feel more and win at all costs, then what you really are is just the Pharisees. So, mind your P's and Q's. It matters. Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name is Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we're in Bible study. We are in the NIV, and we will be through 2025. In this video, we are in Psalms, Book 1, Psalm 28. It's a Psalm of David, and we're doing the whole Psalm. It's Psalm, the verses 1 through 9, so it's not very long. To you I call, O Lord, my rock. Do not turn a deaf ear to me, for if you remain silent, I will be like those who have gone down to the pit. Hear my cry for mercy as I call to you for help, as I lift up my hands towards your most high place. Do not drag me away with the wicked, with those who do evil, who speak cordially with their neighbors, but harbor malice in their hearts. Repay them for their deeds and for their evil work. Repay them for what their hands have done, and bring back upon them what they deserve, since they show no regard for the works of the Lord and what his hands have done. He will tear them down and never build them up again. Praise be to the Lord, for he has heard my cry for mercy. Absolutely. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and I am helped. My heart leaps for joy, and I will give thanks to him in song. The Lord is the Lord is the strength of his people. The Lord is my strength as well. I'm still caught on that. I say that every day. A fortress of salvation for his anointed one. Save your people and bless your inheritance. Be their shepherd and carry them forever.